I gotta be somewhat quick with this video. I gotta leave for class here in 15 minutes, and I still have to, brush my teeth, do all that stuff, which it's literally, right over in the engineering building. It's not far from my building, but I still kind of gotta be speedy about it. So, let's get into the plot. So, after the passing of 2 months, the walls of the Alexandria safe zone have been repaired and expanded, and the residents are living a seemingly normal lifestyle. They kind of had to take it all in, what just happened, but Alexandria's in a good place. We kind of lapsed 2 months later. Rick and Daryl were about to go on a supply run. Michonne asked Rick for spearmint and baking soda toothpaste, while Denise requests a specific soft drink so she can surprise Tara. It's interesting, that's how comfortable they're living at this point. They have, the luxuries to ask for these type of things and not get, dissuaded. Eugene maps out nearby agricultural suppliers, which can improve the dwindling food supply. Yeah, Eugene has definitely had a nice little character development in this series, so it's really good. It's really nice. Eugene's research lead Rick and Daryl to a truck that is filled with food, ammunition, and other supplies, including a case of toothpaste. So they find all sorts of things. They're preparing to take it back. This is all they need for their run, just one big crate full of stuff. They drive the truck along a different route to return to Alexandria and stop at a gas station to loot a fallen vending machine. Now, I would assume in an apocalypse, if you see a falling vending machine, it's probably already been looted. As they struggle to break into it, a long-haired, masked man runs into Rick, claiming that he's running from a group of walkers, so he happens to, come upon them, and we meet this new character. They all lie about not having a camp, and after Rick introduces himself and Daryl, the man removes his mask and gives his name as Paul Rovia, but tells them his friends call him Jesus, which is, it kind of reminds me of the guy from Dave, who's working in the market. That's kind of funny. I feel like Paul Rovia is going to return. Rick starts to ask his 3 recruitment questions despite Daryl's objections, but Jesus runs off. He just runs off before they can finish him. Daryl's like, no, we can't just right away accept this guy into this group. Not everyone can be in our group. Rick and Daryl hear noises from behind the gas station and, forewarned of approaching walkers, decide to investigate only to find firecrackers popping. Yes, Jesus used this as kind of like a distraction for them. Realizing that Jesus tricked them and pickpocketed the truck's keys from Rick, they sprint back to see Jesus driving the truck away. So, yep, there goes the truck. He's dragging the vending machine behind it, and yeah, Rick and Daryl pursue him on foot, eventually coming across the vending machine. Daryl breaks it open and obtains the drink requested by Denise, Orange Crush. So there's one thing they get, but they need to get crops and toothpaste and stuff. As they catch their breath, Rick expresses his positive views on bringing more people into Alexandria. He's like, I feel like it's necessary, Meanwhile, Carl and Enid venture into the woods like they usually do. They come across a balloon with an illegible note, and Enid is hopeful about other people, but Carl says they're probably dead already. So Enid is starting to think more positively after kind of the pep talks that, Glenn gave her, but Carl still kind of has a negative attitude. They sit together, and Enid confesses that she doesn't like being out there anymore. She doesn't like being in the woods. On their way back, Carl spots a walker and attracts its attention to kill it, but when they see who it is, Carl stops while Enid wants to kill it, which is weird. The two argue, and Carl sends Enid back to Alexandria, go to Alexandria. I don't want to be with you right now. And it was Deanna. That was who the walker was. Later, Rick and Daryl catch up to the truck and find Jesus repairing a tire. I don't know how the hell they caught up. I guess he did blow the tire. They attack Jesus, who holds his own against the two of them until subdued at gunpoint. Rick leaves Jesus tied loosely on the side of the road, believing he can free himself once they're gone. They did the same thing to a couple other people they met in this series. When they drive across the field at the next farm, Rick and Daryl hear bumping on the truck's roof, and Rick rapidly brakes to send Jesus toppling from the top of the roof. So before they were even able to leave, Jesus snuck on the top of the roof, which is crazy. Jesus runs and Daryl jumps out to pursue him, while Rick parks the truck near a lake and kills a few stray walkers. They didn't put the fucking truck in park, or either that or the brake broke or something. Jesus gets into the driver's seat as Daryl fights him trying to drive away. Jesus grabs Daryl's handgun and shoots an approaching walker, saving Daryl's life. So maybe Daryl's starting to realize that, hey, we could probably save this guy. Daryl pulls Jesus from the truck, which is set into neutral, and begins rolling backwards. Jesus is struck on the back of the head by the truck's door, knocking him out as the truck rolls into the lake and submerges. Was he in the truck when it, I don't know. As Michonne is patrolling the newly erected wall, she spots Spencer going to the woods alone with a shovel and sets after him, what the hell are you doing? As they walk through the woods, Michonne spots Carl running and sees a lone walker, which is revealed to be a reanimated Deanna. We didn't know up until that point, so it was kind of up in the air, what the hell are they reacting for? It was like a mini cliffhanger. With Michonne's assistance, Spencer stabs the walker and buries it, a large D carved on a tree to mark the grave, which is nice. He gets closure with his mother. That night, Michonne confronts Carl about not calling the walker. Why wouldn't you just put it out of its misery, so Spencer didn't have to, He believes the walker should only be killed by someone who had loved them in life. That's a pretty good belief, I guess. When he tells her he would do it for her, Michonne embraces him. Obviously, those two have had a pretty friendly relationship, Rick and Daryl return to Alexandria with an unconscious Jesus, whom they leave tied up in the room. I don't know why I asked if he got submerged in the lake. He literally came back to Alexandria. Rick and Michonne sit together on the couch in their living room. They laugh as they talk about their dates and soon begin holding hands and kissing intimately. Now, we didn't realize at first that these two had a relationship going on, but here you go. Later that night, Rick and Michonne are naked, sleeping in bed together when a voice is heard calling Rick. Michonne and Rick leap up and grab their weapons as the speaker is revealed to be Jesus, who is standing at the foot of the bed and says they need to talk. So he's obviously a pretty smart person. He has good survival skills or whatever. He's I don't know, it's kind of crazy. But let's get into the critical reception. Pretty good episode here. 93%. 7.98 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes. Vintage style action and the spark of a hot new romance make The Next World a gratifying successor to the shocking mid-season premiere, which was better than the mid-season finale, crazy enough. The much-needed time jump, it refreshed the series from the brutal slog of previous episodes. That was great. A rather light, funny episode that ended on a surprising note, but not a bloody one for once. It's one of the show's best episodes. Every pairing this episode not only made sense, but also meaningfully advanced the story or the characters. It's humor. It's great. It's one of the funniest episodes of The Walking Dead ever. Despite having a few moments of danger, The Next World was the lightest, most joy-filled episode of The Walking Dead since the start. Hell, there were actual moments of intentional humor. Rick's new life feels earned and deserved. And I loved how this episode allowed No Way Out from last week to be the definitive end point for the whole initial Alexandria arc by skipping over what's usually obligatory reflection and wallowing. The episode is great. Holy moly, am I about to describe an episode of The Walking Dead as lighthearted? Well, The Next World kind of is. This is at least very definitely The Walking Dead's version of a light action romp full of buddy cop fun. Last week, it's almost like Lethal Weapon. Some people will explain it as that, and he's not wrong, as Daryl points out at the end of The Next World in a wonderful Murtaugh-inspired moment. That it's dumb for him and Rick to keep going out on reckless supply runs just for the two of them to agree that they're just going to do it again the next day. As the men cheerfully walk out the door, it's a shame no sax is playing in the background. You get the sense that both Daryl and Rick had finally embraced their situation, not as the damning thing of past years, but as a challenge they will overcome. Yeah, very interesting stuff. We watched Lethal Weapon on the channel, so obviously I can kind of see it. I can kind of see the inspiration that this episode draws from that, but I gotta go, guys. I gotta go get ready for class. I don't know why I do this to myself. I wake up right in the morning, get videos out, but it's something I gotta do, so I don't have to do it later in the day. We have to watch Dexter. We have to catch up on Breaking Bad to get to Better Call Saul, which I've already watched the Breaking Bad series. You guys have seen it on my channel, but we're going to catch up and watch the last 3 episodes of Better Call Saul afterwards. So, yeah, nothing much to say. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate everyone watching. Jesus TV, as always, with the TV content. I'm watching Dexter today. And I think I'm watching Inglourious Bastards today. That's gonna be the video. That's gonna be the movie. I saw a lot of people